Good morning, Redskin sports fans. This is John Cannon. I'm here with a very elated Coach Ramiro Leal. Coach, before we even get into the game preview this week, let's talk about the last 2 weeks. You guys have gone from hoping and praying to possibly make the playoffs to where now you kind of control your own destiny. You got big wins over Porter and got a big win over Down North. So now at 2-3, how does it feel to be back in this crazy race?
It feels really good. You know, it looked bleak for a while. I know it's just, you know, we were struggling at some point. You know, the first 3 games, of course, went through the gauntlet playing those three teams. You know, we had Mercedes followed by Ed Couch and followed by Lopez. And losing our quarterback and our starting tailback doesn't really help the situation. But you know, Alex Sanchez really stepped it up. You know, it's going to be his 4th game now playing this week. And he's getting better and better and better, getting confidence. The kids rally around him. You know, we simplified things a lot for him to make it a little bit easier for him. And of course, bringing EJ back has just opened the doors. You know, he's had over 100-yard rushing in both the last 2 games, and he just brings a different dimension to with the offense.
One thing we need to talk about. I know it seems like we've kind of been repetitive on your offense, but your defense doesn't get as much credit as they deserve. They have brought that. You know, they, for the first couple of games there, they kind of struggled a little bit, and they were having to really dig deep while the offense was trying to get something together. But now
the only reason
the offense is clicking, your defense.
But the only reason we've been in the games, I mean, it's been the defense. Let's just call it the way it is. You know, I think sometimes we felt bad because they were keeping us in the games. We weren't able to move the ball, but our defense has been steady all the way through. You know, the first game were a little shaky both offensive and defensively, but at the very end, you know, they played a real good game against North the second half. They played a really good game against La Jolla. Of course, Mercedes, you know, we were struggling. We knew it was going to be a thing because of their team speed. But then Ed Couch it should have been 7-6 at half, give or take. You know, we got stuck at the short end of the end zone and basically ended up scoring right before. But it's still tight all the way through to the very end. And of course, Lopez, it was 7-all for like 3 quarters. And at the very end, you know, again, it was Alex's first real start going in there. So it was tough going in there. But the defense has kept us in. They're steady Eddie. They're playing great, and it gives us a lot of confidence. That's why, you know, we've noticed we've been going a lot on 4th down because we have a good defense. You know, when you have confidence, the guys can back you up. We're going to continue to try to take our chances. You know, if it's 4th and short, you know, as long as it's a situation where we think it's doable, we'll do it.
Tell you the one guy and we say his name all the time on the broadcast, JP Sandoval.
Yeah.
That guy is an animal. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves either. This kid, you know, you want to talk about the heart and soul of your defense. JP has been that guy. And not only that, but he's really kept all the glue together through all this thing, too.
Well, we always said, you know, JP, of course, he's played as a freshman. He's a junior. You know, it brings a lot of experience. You know, you can't get experience other than by playing and by years, and he puts us in good situations. Half the battle with the defense is lining up correctly, and he puts us in the right alignments. You know, sometimes that's how teams get outflanked because we just don't align properly. But, you know, with him there, you know, he's the quarterback of the defense. He runs the show as far as there. Of course, there's a lot of other good players that help him out. But, you know, of course, his experience. He's in his 3rd year. You know, I think that having him there, you know, it's like having a coach out there, and it really puts us in really good situations.
You know, coming into this game against Pace, looking at their offense, they've got 2 great playmakers. Their quarterback is a really, really good QB, and they've got that other receiver as well. So, again, your defense is going to be challenged, but it just seems like every week these kids relish the challenge. They want the challenge. So, You got to have tons of confidence for them coming into this game.
Oh, I like our chances, like everything else. We're finally playing. I think that the capability we could be playing. Of course, you know, losing Hector, but Alex has grown. You know, he went 7 for 8 last week, which is, you know, really great. You know, we simplified things for him, and defensively, you know, just bend but don't break. You know, they don't give up the big play, and we haven't really given up the big play. I think Mercedes hit us on a deep ball early on, but we haven't given too many big plays. Bend but don't break. You know, shorten the game down, put us in a position where at the 4th quarter we have a chance to, you know, tie or to win, and that's what they've kept doing. Pace, yes, they're very explosive. They got 2 good running backs. They got a quarterback. They got a really good offensive line, and of course they got number 11. So it's a big challenge, but I think, you know, we wouldn't want it either way. We want to step up to a challenge. If we were content to make a playoff, you know, we have to beat those teams. If not, we don't deserve to be there.
And here's the funny thing about it: playoff week is actually this week. As you think about it,
yes.
The race is as follows: you have Pace, you have you guys.
Every game's a playoff.
You have Pace, Lopez, Ed Couch, and Don battling for 4th. You play Pace, Lopez plays Ed Couch. So if you think about it, these 4 teams, basically this week is playoff week.
You know, and I told them every game you got to treat it like a playoff. You know, we need that. You know, when we went 0-3 in the district, I said every game from here on it's going to be a playoff type game. Everything is in an atmosphere where you have to feel that there's a sense of urgency. And I think the kids have risen up, and we just got to continue to keep on building on it. And I think we play our style of football and make no mistakes. We can't give up turnovers and no cheap penalties. Going to put us in a bind. You know, I like our chances.
have you seen? And we've talked about this wacky District 32-5A, but in all your years of coaching, have you ever seen a situation like this where 4 teams?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about we could be in a situation at the end of the year, teams could be 3-4, and there could be a 3-way tie for 4th. In all of your years, have you ever seen anything like this?
The only year that we had it, I think, goes back to probably like 2003, 2004. We ended up with a 3-way tie for the district championship, and it ended up being where I think we had 4 teams with the same scenario, but one team was left out just because back then I think we were taking 3 teams. And it's a situation where the identicals, had 4-way ties, and just because of the tiebreaker came down to points, they didn't get in. So it's going to be touchy because it's now going to come down to head-to-head tiebreaker points. It's going to come down to the very end. So it should get hopefully this week will clarify a little bit better, but it's still going to come down to the very end.
I know you talk about every week is an important week, but you got to admit, I mean, between us, this week is probably the most important game.
This one is.
When you look at playoff-wise, this is the most important
this
game.
This is the most important game. You want to go into the last week saying, look, you win, there probably is a good chance, you making the playoffs. You want to be in that scenario because you control your own destiny. You don't have to really be waiting for certain things to happen. Even though, of course, the odds are going to be totally, depending on who wins this week, are going to be switching around. But again, you want to control your own destiny. And I think, this is the biggest game we've been playing all year long.
There you go, Coach. Friday night. 7:30.
Homecoming, everything.
Homecoming. Yeah, you name it all. Everything's going on.
Yeah,
last week was a battle of reservation. You had parents' night. Now you have homecoming. So, do all these little things, all these factors that go on like homecoming, do you think that gives the kids the extra boost they need to go out and say, you know what, because it's homecoming, because of this, we got to defend the front?
It's twofold. I think it works in a situation where you can lose focus because you're paying attention to all the distractions. Or it can be, you can use it to your advantage and say, look, because of all these things, you got to go out and perform. All these things is going on, and you got to go out because it's going to be a grand scale. It's going to be more people. There's certain situations, whether it's parents' night and homecoming, they're going to be coming to the game. So, like I said, you got to treat it right. You got to keep the kids, focus on what's really going on. And, with all the distractions, it comes pressure, but that's where you want kids to handle pressure the best way.
There you go. Friday night, 7:30, Benton La Crosse State. We'll be going live. And by the way, I did a little math. You guys are 3-1 when we go live at games.
Then you better go
So
live.
I think we need to stick with it. But it'll be live, redskinsports.us. Guys, come out, show your support. You've got to come. This is the game that if Donna wins, they keep they're in an excellent spot for a playoff spot. So playoffs begins Friday night.
Friday night, 7:30.
Coach,
Thank
good
you.
luck, and let's go for the 3rd straight win.
Let's go.
All right.